Hi, today I wanted to talk about mid-year resolutions. Do you remember in January you were feeling so inspired and you were enthusiastic and you made a long list of resolutions? Yes. And then by February, what happened? Did you know that 80% of people fail at their resolutions by February? And only 8% stick with it till the end of the year. So I'm going to make you one of those 8%. Let's take a look at them in this month and start implementing them so we are ready for when January 2026 rolls in, you're already ahead of it. And in this video, what I'll be sharing is why do we fail at sticking with our resolutions and what can we do about it? So let's get stuck in. My goal is to make you, yes you, see that you have something special within yourself. On this channel, I'll be sharing insights with simple, practical tools that you could implement today so that you could be architects of your life and design it in a way that has meaning and depth. So join me on this journey, and whilst you're at it, hit subscribe now. So why do we fail? There are a couple of things. Firstly, it's just extremely outcome focused, very much goal orientated. The end result. For example, it would be, I want to be extremely fit by the end of the year. The second way is we think of too many areas we want to improve. We end up making a list of 5 or 6 areas we want to improve. But the best thing is, you just start with one. Thirdly, we rely on grit and willpower too much. Don't get me wrong. We actually need willpower and grit initially to get started, to build that momentum, but you can't keep relying on it to sustain it. Because when you're exhausted, your grit, your willpower is at its lowest, and you end up then defaulting to what is the easiest, which is the bad habit that you have. Relying on grit and willpower as a mechanism is actually a flaw. The fourth one is it's an all or nothing process. So if you fail once, you think, forget it, I'm doomed. This is now broken, there's no point. So we completely fall off the wagon. So what's the approach? The first one is, let's just start with a vision. So right now, have a think. Write it down on a piece of paper. What is your vision of your life? Your career, your family. Once you've written that down, let's pick one area. So let's say we're picking health, that we want to be our most healthiest and fittest this year. What does that look like? So let's say I've never been to the gym. My goal would not be, let's start going to the gym. I'm actually setting myself up for failure here. So I need to start working backwards. So from that goal, if I start working backwards and go to the very first step, and that would be, I need to go buy a pair of trainers and some workout clothes. After that, I have to be extremely specific. So let's be specific by what the actual activity is and the time. So the next thing would be that every day at 8:30 in the morning, I will go for a 15-minute walk around the block. That's being specific, and it's giving a time, and it's the next thing on the step to becoming healthy. Once you've become specific and you've got a time, to make it easier, there's this concept of habit stacking. Habit stacking is you already have an established habit. Now what you'll be doing is tacking on a new behavior. So with this 15-minute walk, let's say that when I do a school drop-off, before I get back into the car, I will then go for a 15-minute walk around the block and then get back into the car and then come home. So the new habit is being tagged onto the school drop-off. And once that is established, I can add another new habit. And it could be, I will listen to a podcast whilst I'm doing my 15-minute walk when I have done school drop-off in the morning. Do Do you see how then you can start putting in new behaviors once they're established? The third thing is consistency. Now the thing is, when we break our resolutions, we say this narrative that we're just not disciplined, we're inconsistent. But discipline is a muscle to be exercised, and we need that positive feedback loop. Keep a visual tracker. Put it somewhere that you can just tick off on a daily basis, and I promise you that will give you the incentive, because it gives you a dopamine hit that yes, you are consistent, and it's now changing the narrative that hey, I've done 7 days of walking without breaking this chain. I'm actually a disciplined person. So discipline is not something that someone is born with, it's a muscle that we exercise. And I know that you can do it. The fourth one is duration. Now, I used to believe this, and I know many people do because they've told me this recently, is that for a new habit to form, it takes 21 days. That is not true. Philippa Laley, who's a health psychologist at UCL, did a study, and she showed that it takes anywhere between 2 months to 254 days for a behavior to become a habit. And when we say habit, it is something that we do automatically without thinking, like brushing our teeth, taking a bath, having a cup of tea in the morning. These are all habits that we do without thinking. So if we want to become healthy and we're now not thinking about it, this new behavior, so the 15-minute walk every day, that will take anywhere between 2 months and 254 days. Let that actually be a motivating number, because it's giving you a whole long process. It's a journey. Habits are not formed overnight. It needs to happen incrementally. If you fall off the wagon 1 day, 2 days, see it as an experiment. Be a scientist. See, how can I improve it? Why did I not do it this day? What was it? What do I need to change? It actually gives you room to make mistakes and be compassionate and then try again. But the thing is, we need to keep getting back on and try again. We're not going to get to day 500 if we don't start with day 1 today. So what are you waiting for? Start today. And then when we get to the end of the year, you'll look back and see, actually, I have done what I set out to do. And then in the new year, you can go even further and aim for something higher. But the thing is, we can't aim for those high goals in our first go. It happens incrementally. So let's not be extremely goal focused, but just start with incremental mini goals. And then before you know it, you would have climbed the peak. And it's sustainable, and it doesn't lead to burnout, and it takes the pressure off. We too often look at other people and think, wow, they're so disciplined. They go to the gym every day. But remember, they also started with day 1, something small. So start small, and then it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. But give yourself that time for it to become a habit. I hope you found this useful. Try these out and let me know in the comments. And remember, there is a spark within you.